Hey y'all, welcome to Diary of the Fumbling Farmer. I am the Fumbling Farmer, Asia. I'm also the Fumbling Videographer because last weekend I filmed this whole beautiful video of all my indoor plants and my outdoor plants and repotting my seedlings and all kinds of stuff. And then when I listened to it, it had no sound on it. I had my mic on, I just didn't have it turned on. And then I was like, well, I could take the footage and do a voiceover and just explain what's happening, cut out the parts where it's just me yapping and just show the plants and show what's happening. But then I was like, oh, that's a lot. So here I am. We're going to try again this weekend, okay? All right. So I'm going to start you off indoors. You're going to look at my, I'm going to show my, wow, that was bossy. You're going to look at my seedlings. You're going to look at my seedlings. Anyway. I don't know how this video is going to go today, but I will show you my video of my seedlings, which hopefully you will enjoy. And then we'll go outside, and it's like my favorite time of year because all the stuff is coming up and doing things, and yay. All right, so let's start looking at my seedlings, okay? Okay, here we go. So the first thing is I despise peat pots. These things are so hard to keep wet and keep watered. They dry out so easily. I'm over it. This is like the 49th time I've reseeded Canterbury Bells. This was supposed to be Sweet Alyssum. They came up and then they all shriveled up and dried because of one missed watering thing. I have some that's like a mammoth sunflower. There's Gomphrena back here. Ew, it's growing moss. Mold on it. Ew, look at that. Ew. So that one too. So I think today what I'm going to do, one of the things is I'm going to take all of these peat pots and I'm going to, anything that's growing in them back there, I'm going to transplant into these containers here. They have the soft bottoms that you can push up. They have the drainage holes at the bottoms, and I'm going to do that. So these are all my little seedlings. These are like all flowers and stuff. There's Canterbury Bells back there that are growing. There's basket flowers back there. There's Nyla's, in the black pot back there is Nyla's Snapdragon. And then over here is Heal-All and Bee Balm and White Yarrow and Lemon Balm. And these are Roman Chamomile. So just a whole bunch of those things. Then down here is my army of tomato plants. This is my video last week, was me taking all the tomato seedlings out of a tray that kind of looked like this and just giving them their individual plants. So these 12 in here are the 12 I'm actually putting in my garden. Everything else, there's another shelf full of them, is stuff I'm either going to try to sell or give away. So I did 12 different, or no, I think I did 11 different varieties. I have Cherokee Purple, Sunray, Apricot Zebra, Alice's Dream, Wapsipinicon Peach, Sugar Rush, Black Crim, San Marzano, Brad's Atomic Grape. I have 2 Sunray plants and a beefsteak tomato. So those are all the varieties I'm putting in my garden this year. And then down here, these really tall ones are my Roselle. They are unfortunately very tall, but it's too cold for them to have them outside consistently. So, but it is starting to get warm enough during the days that I can leave them out for their sunlight and just put them somewhere inside at night. And then these right here, I got some passion fruit little stem thingies. I got them from Baker Creek. And they came and they were just this, the dark green part is all that there was, and then the root ball at the bottom. So I put them into these pots, and then the light green flowers are the new growth. So they're starting to put on this lovely new growth here. My plan for these is to put them into a pot and put them outside on the trellis, and like a big old pot. And then in the winter time, I'm going to cut them way back, bring the pots inside, and just try to overwinter them inside. So that's my plan. All right. And then I guess the last thing I have in here, like there's some more broccoli back there and mint back there too, I think, and thyme back there. But these right here are my pepper seedlings. So I have Ajvarsky peppers, I have Canary Bell, and Choricero, I think is how you say them. These are all sweet peppers in these first 3 rows. And then the last 2 rows here of peppers are Craig's Grande jalapenos. And then this row here is long purple eggplant. All right. The way I start my peppers is I put them into a petri dish like this, the seeds. I spray it with water and let it get wet, and I wait until they germinate. And then once they germinate, these are actually over germinated. These are Gomphrena, by the way. Once they germinate, I can kind of gently, like this is I left this too far gone. The roots are grown into the paper towel. But when I do it right, I can take the plant like this and just plop it into some soil. And then it will come up like these ones are doing here. I just put these ones in the soil yesterday. And this is a much better way for me because if y'all were here in previous years, you know that I get impatient, and if I don't see something growing right away, like I'm going to dig it up and to see like what's going on down there. And so when I can see them germinate in the petri dish and I put them in there, and then basically the next day or two they pop up above ground, it's much, much better for me. So that is like a successful way. And not all seeds will work like that, but the pepper and the eggplant do work like that, and it's helpful for me. All right, let me go ahead and put my shoes on and we go head outside. All right, here I am outside. It is a beautiful spring day. I think it's supposed to be 80 degrees today. Right now it's kind of feels like 70 at the moment, maybe 69-ish. Okay, so let's show you what I got going on out here. Okay, so right here I got sage, purple basil, dill, parsley, and this is a dill that I don't know if it's going to make it. So these ones I'm just, that smells good. It smells like a cough drop. Anyway, these ones I'm going to slowly be moving them into more and more sunlight and hardening them off. Okay. These are my poor onion plants that I need to get out into the garden, but I just haven't prepped a bed for them yet. So today that's one of the goals, is to try to prep a bed for these. These are leeks, actually. There's leeks and then a couple onions over there. All right, this here is another tray of seedlings, just random stuff. Basket flowers, bok choy, arugula, cucamelons. I got butterfly peas here, nasturtiums, some calendula, a pineapple ground cherry that I'm trying to get to grow. These things are so hard for me to get them to grow. And then toothache plant, some spinach, and some more choricero peppers out here too. So these are at the beginning of the hardening off stage. I put them under my deck. They get a little bit of sunlight when the sun kind of moves over this direction. So they get some. All right. I threw a bunch of snapdragon seeds in here. I have to come through and thin it out eventually, but that's on the to-do list. This plant here just overwinters. I'm going to come back and cut back some of these really straggly ones and just let them grow up from the base. This is Delphinium that it's come back now like 2 or 3 years. It lasts over the winter in this pot, and then it's come back. So let's see what happens with that. This is my sweet hellebores, or Lenten roses, I think they're called. I got it from my friend. So that's blooming right now. All right, in here I have some sunflowers that came up and some lettuce that I'm trying to get hardened off so I can plant it out. Here I have, this is artichoke, y'all. This and this, and then this one too. This one looks like it's literally choking though. Yikes. Then I have some parsley, some basil, and again, I'm trying to get these kind of hardened off so I can get them planted outside. This right here is sunburn, like I put it in too much light for too long, too soon. So my basil's struggling a little bit. I think this is a snapdragon. Are you a snapdragon? Hold on, let me smell it. No, that's Thai basil. You are a snapdragon. Oh, why you doing that, boo? Anyway, that's a snapdragon. And this is some bachelor buttons here. All right, more Lenten roses. What else is coming up in here? This is foxglove, my hydrangea, some azaleas, and then I forgot what that bush is called, but it has pretty red leaves there. And then again, I put in more snapdragon seeds in here, which again, I think I'll probably have to kind of thin out a little bit. And then I have tons of random little pots that just have weeds growing in them right now that I will be cleaning out and refreshing and putting stuff in. All right, over here, these are like some ornamental alliums, onion, the kind of things. I have little bits of yarrow growing in here, but they're just teeny tiny. All right, that is lamb's ear. Those are going to be black-eyed Susans, I think, and that's like a lily thingy. Those are something, I forgot what they are. I also have some dahlias planted in here that'll probably come up. The rose bush here, and then there's a purple aster back there. So that looks good. All right, let's go over here. The peach tree is not quite in as nice bloom as it was before. It was all covered with pink flowers and so pretty. But that's that. And then over here, I have a clematis. This is, I just planted it last year, so I wasn't sure like how to like trim it and cut it back and everything. So I just left the whole growth all the way up. And so it is kind of along the whole vine, putting off new little growth things. And then there's blossoms all the way up too, which is nice. And then we have blossoms down here too. So I'm just trying to, when I come through, if I see something sticking out like this too much or something like this, I'll try to come and just weave it into the netting here and let it grow up. This is where I'm planning to grow my passion fruit up too. So I'll probably put like a basket of the pot down there and just let it take over this whole side. So that's my plan. All right, let's keep going. I think this is either a beet or a radish. I think it's a radish. I put some radish seeds and beet seeds in this, but then obviously I didn't water it that well because it's a little dried out. But that one little guy said, I'm going to make it. Alrighty. Oh, those are the pepper plants I took out of the pepper pot, so don't look at that. So this is Nyla's garden. It's full of weeds right now. It's got a couple tulips in there, but we have to come in here and just, we're going to weed all this today. And the same with Anissa's garden. It's got a couple stuff coming up, but we're going to come through and weed everything. I did have some little daffodils blooming. It's got something coming up over there. I don't know if it's a weed or not. But this, we got a lot of rain, and so it's all soggy. The ground under my feet is soggy right now, so that's that. This is where I'm going to put my jalapeno peppers. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I got 10 pots. I'm going to have to get 2 more because I think I'll have at least 12 plants. And this year I'm just doing all jalapenos. Last year I did jalapenos and cubanelles and datil peppers. But this year I think I'm just going to stick with all jalapenos in here. They're going to be all a jalapeno business. All right, last year I had cucumbers planted in there and they did really well. I think I'm going to do them again in these buckets. And then this is where my tomatoes will be. I kind of want to come out here. I got to weed a little bit. I'm going to put a layer of compost on top of this bed. And then I think I'm going to sprinkle a whole bunch of marigold and basil seeds in here, like just down the middle, and let those get started before I put my tomato plants in. But my tomato plants will come in here and they'll kind of grow up these little vine thingies. I mean, these little string thingies. I also have to switch these out. I'm going to make it all have this kind of thing with the hook instead of these, because these were too stiff. I couldn't lower them or adjust them at all. So that's that plan. All right, let's keep going. Here's my sweet little garden. I think my grandpa would call it a postage stamp garden. It's a little tiny, about the size of a postage stamp. Our yard is full of lovely little wildflowers. It's kind of sweet, and the bees and the birds and everybody loves it. So I'm kind of glad my husband hasn't gotten out here to mow anything. It's been too soggy for him, because I feel like nature is sort of loving all the stuff. All right, let's see what we got here. So here I have some anise hyssop. It smells like licorice. It's supposed to be medicinal. I did cut this back. So here's like the old growth, and it grew back in the pot. I do want to repot this and just put it in a bigger pot. This is some celery that I planted last year at the beginning. It lasted all through summer, didn't really produce anything. And now here it is again, kind of getting bushy and everything. But I don't know if it's going to like actually grow celery. I don't know. It doesn't seem like the big stalks that you see in the grocery store, so I don't know. I don't know what the deal is with that. Here's another anise hyssop plant. I got strawberries in that bucket, and then that bucket is lemon balm. I'm going to repot that bucket too because they've been in there for a while. This is rosemary. I got to trim off some of the stuff. Let's see what else. These are carrots that have been growing for several seasons. Not several seasons. I planted them like at the beginning of last spring. And they grew. And then they kind of died back in the winter. And now they are popping up again. I want to clear this away and sprinkle more carrot seeds in this section here too, but I also think I want to plant some other stuff too. I think this is a potato plant. I had potatoes planted here last year, and I wouldn't doubt that I didn't pull up. Sorry, you can't see. Here you go. I didn't pull up, get all the potatoes, and it looks like there's a potato plant growing. I'm going to let it do what it's doing and see what happens. And then here is some of my garlic that I planted in the fall. It's doing really well. And here's the other bits of garlic that I planted in the wall. This bed, I think, is doing better than this bed, but I also think that this bed was the healthier garlic that I planted first, and these were kind of the more softer or smaller little pods that I planted. So yeah, we'll see. But anyway, I do have to add some fertilizer to both of those. Here's the black cow. Right now I'm using it as a weed blocker in my pathways, but that's what I'm going to put on each of the beds. I'm going to clear away the leaves. It takes about 2 bags to put maybe an inch layer on top of the beds before I start planting. So I loosen up the soil, not digging it up, but just loosen it up, and then I will put that on. All right, this right here is my feverfew, which looks freaking phenomenal, but it is in this little tiny bucket, and so I think I am going to give it a bigger home. But I'm just really happy with this. Like, it lasted all winter, and it's supposed to be medicinal as well. That's something I want to get better at this year. I have runaway strawberries there. Sweet little flowers on them. So I'm just going to let that do its thing, and then maybe when I'm ready to plant stuff, if it's in the way, I'll move it. Okay, I had a thyme plant in here. It lasted several seasons, but I think it's dead now. I don't think it's, like, this is not even connected to the ground, and I don't think this is coming back again. But here's my onion chives. I want some more onion chives. They're making little buds. I have to get this bed set up. These are my potato plants. If you watch a couple videos back, I found a bag of potatoes that was chitting, which means they're like, their eyes are kind of growing the new plants again on the potatoes. And I was like, well, let me plant them and see what happens. And so this is what has happened. So I got these beautiful plants growing. Here, I'm going to add some soil to this and kind of mound up over them. I do want to plant some peas along this back thing, but I have to add the soil to this bin first. All right, I don't have anything in here yet. These are my blueberries. So they have their sweet little flowers on them. This is a ton of flowers for me. So I'm hoping we get a pretty good blueberry harvest this year. This is another variety of blueberries. It blooms a little bit later. It also has kind of less blooms than that one does too. But there are a bunch of little bunches of blooms. And then same with this one. This one is a little later too. It looks like something's in here trying to dig up, make a nest or something. But let's not do that, baby. We're just gonna, I'll add some soil to the top of these too. I do have to fertilize these as well. That's on my to-do list. All right, let's keep walking around. Okay, now where are we? All right, this is mint in here. Mint, 2 things of mint. But I think I want to take these out and separate them and just try to get them a little healthier looking. And then this is oregano in here. So these come back every single year. I cut them way back, just like this. They turn into these like brown sticks. And I just come out here and cut them back over the winter. And then when it gets warm, it starts growing back again. And it's like endless mint for whatever you need it for. I have a neighbor who comes over when she's cooking and says, "Can I get some mint?" Go ahead. These are garlic chives. So they're nice and big and healthy. They'll probably start making the little flower buds soon too. They also kind of die way back down in the winter. And then when it starts getting warm, they come up again. I think this bed is where I'm going to put my artichoke. It gets a little more shade, but it does get like morning sunlight. All right. So talking about escaped strawberries, this whole pathway, I had strawberries kind of take over. You can see the sweet little flowers. Now I don't mind too much because these things here, I don't know what they're called, and I'm sure somebody will tell me they're good for something, but these plants right here take over everywhere, and I'm trying to hope that the strawberries will sort of drown them out and take over this space, because I'd rather have a pathway full of strawberries than full of those other little weeds. But they got sweet little flowers on them. But I just can't walk on this path now, or like very carefully. Let me pull this weed up. This is that seed. This is what the seed looks like. And then this is the plant that comes from it. And if you don't pick it early enough, this taproot goes way deep down and it's super hard to get rid of. So throw those out whenever I can. All right, that's one strategic foot place, and then the other one is up there. So here we go. I'm walking through the strawberries. Okay. And then this is the final bed. Is this the final bed? I think so. Oh, but there's more stuff to see. This is my Swiss chard. I planted it last year and it overwintered and came back again. I think there's 2 plants here kind of close together that came up. And there's another little one there that's kind of struggling. I'm going to pull this guy up. I don't know what you're doing here. Okay. All right, that's that. And then underneath here, I'm actually going to open these up and let them be today. I had just planted these out. I started them as seedlings and I planted them out, and I didn't want like the all the little critters trying to chew on them. So I kind of covered them up a little bit. I also wanted to protect them. We had like a 36-degree night, which I think they would have been fine in. But this is kale, lacinato kale. And then over here, I have some Brussels sprouts. Okay, let me keep moving around. And then this is more Brussels sprouts. These little cloches are really nice. They come with these little hooks. You just stick them in the ground, and there's a little tab there that it just holds onto and keeps it from blowing away. And I usually just keep the tabs there when I remove these and come back out at night again and put them back on. So this is more Brussels sprouts, and this right here is kohlrabi. I have never eaten or grown kohlrabi in my life, but here we are. So I can no longer say I've never grown kohlrabi, but I can still say I've never eaten kohlrabi. So we'll see what happens this year if I can change that statement. So once again, though, I think I've planted my brassicas out too late. But we just get so warm so fast over here that it's really hard. Like it'll be cold, 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 snowing, ice, all that. And then all of a sudden, it'll be hot. And so it's hard for me to get the time right. So I am afraid that I have planted these out too late. and it's going to get too hot and they are going to bolt, which means that they go to seed and I don't actually get anything from it. But so far they look really good, and I'm proud of these because I started them from seedlings, and we will see what happens in life. That's where we are. Here's my sweet little fig tree. It's not in the best spot for it, but each year it looks a little bit stronger. Then I have some, what are they called? I think they're irises. Hold on, let me put this over here. I have some irises growing here and some more. There's mums down there, and then some more hellebores or Lenten roses. Last year I put tomatoes in these bags, but they dried out really quickly. I also put like, oh, excuse me. My allergies are starting to get to me, so I do have to apologize for that. Anyway, they're starting to get dried out easily. And I planted them, that's not what I was saying. I planted them in like, when did I plant them? I planted them in like later in the year when I was like done with the garden. Okay, we're going to do one more little look. Okay, so here's my little side garden. This one gets much more shade. It doesn't get light until later in the day. But the mums are doing great in here. There's a little azalea that, because this is more in the shade, it's a little behind the one in the front. I have some of these things. What are they called? I don't know, but they grow like crazy. This is some more of the hellebores, but they're just growing green right now. I got some calla lilies coming back there. I got something. Oh, good, you're coming back up again. These are my hostas. So this is one really big hosta, and then there's a hosta back there too. And then there's some sedum over there. Okay, and this is another random thing. I think these are beets. I planted some seeds in here. I did half radish and half beets, and I think these are beets. So we'll see what happens with those. Oh, I just felt I could feel my allergies coming on, ready to kill me. All right, don't look at that. That's messy stuff. I got to clean it up. Okay, and then this is the last, no, I'm lying. This is not the last bed. These are Shasta daisies. I got two hostas back here. There's a bunch of mallow plants. There's a, oh my gosh, look, I need to like, oh my gosh, look at that. Look how tiny that little bleeding heart is. This poor baby, this is not a very great spot for it. It needs some, I don't know what I don't know what it needs, but that's the most ridiculously small bleeding heart I've ever seen in my life. I got some yarrow in here. This is lavender. I just hate how it looks. I think I'm gonna dig up the lavender this year because I hate how like it has all this brown growth on it. There, it's all dried up and ugh looking. I'm so sorry for all this sniffling. And this is rosemary, and it's kind of the same thing. It's just so raggedy looking. This right here is more foxglove. It came back again. Now I have more yarrow there. Like I said, hydrangea, and then that's the little roots there. Hopefully the mallow plant will come back. And this is one of my favorite things. These are a giant hosta. So this is kind of how they start off. It's like this, coming up above the ground, and then it'll be a giant hosta. I'm sorry, my allergies are so bad. Here, I'll show you why they're bad. Y'all see the pollen on that thing? This is what in North Carolina we call the pollening. We did not have this in Connecticut when I lived there. Anywho, so here we go. Here's my last garden bed. This is my little front flower bed. You missed it when the daffodils were blooming. It was sweet. These are snapdragons though. There's a little tulip here apparently. And then I have other things. There's sedum back there. And then there's an anise hyssop over there. And so these little spaces that are empty, I kind of give it time to do what it's doing. And then the little spaces that are empty, I will fill in with other plants that I have, like the button flowers and those different things that I have planted inside. All right, my phone is starting to get pollen on it too. So we finna go inside and blow my nose and try to unpollinate. So thank you, y'all, for following me on this garden tour. I hope I got the sound right, because if I don't, I'm going to cry. But I hope y'all have a wonderful day, and happy gardening, y'all.